Hello and welcome back to All Things Jazzy. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I made this delicious old-fashioned pound cake and added some caramel to it. So I started off by boiling 2 cans up in this milk. This is what we're going to use to make the caramel. You do want to make sure the cans are completely covered and boil them for 3 hours, okay? Alright, so I am adding 3 sticks of unsalted butter into my stand mixer. And then I'm going to add 3 cups of sugar and we will cream that together. Okay, so now that the 2 of those are creamed together, we're going to scrape down the sides, the bottom, and also remove what is ever on your paddle attachment. If you're not using a stand mixer and you're using a hand mixer, same thing. And of course, this is an old-fashioned pound cake. So you do not have to use a stand mixer, or you do not, well, for any cake, not just an old-fashioned. But if you're using your hand and a whisk, definitely go ahead. I didn't grow up using a hand or a stand mixer. When I baked with my grandmother, we just used spoons, wooden spoons and regular spoons and a whisk. But I added in 5 eggs. No, I'm not adding them in one at a time. I don't have time for that. So I added in all 5 eggs at the same time. It's not going to make a difference in this particular pound cake. All right, and then we're just going to go ahead and blend that together until you don't see the egg anymore. And then you're going to go ahead and add in whatever extracts that you choose. I am adding in a half a teaspoon of almond extract, and then I'm adding in a full teaspoon of cookie nip. You can use vanilla, butter vanilla, or whatever flavor that you choose to add to your pound cake. Okay, so now for the flour, we are going to use 3 cups of flour. We want to make sure that the flour is the exact measurement. So I like to use my measuring cup to have this little leveler on it because they make sure that it's all together. But you can also, if you don't have one like this, you can just use a regular measuring cup and use a butter knife to scrape off the top and also to chop through it to make sure you have the correct amount of flour. For an old-fashioned pound cake, you do not have to sift the flour because, as we know, growing up, there wasn't a lot of sifting. So I just added in 2 cups and I'm going to go ahead and mix. We do want to make sure that we don't over mix, so I started it off really low. And then I am going to go ahead and add the other cup of flour, but with that one I am adding in 1 teaspoon of baking powder into it as well. And then as the flour, this last cup, is incorporating into the wet mixture, I am adding in also in increments the buttermilk. So a little bit of flour, a little bit of buttermilk. And again, all of my, well, not again, because I didn't say this earlier. I be forgetting. But all of my items are room temperature. So all of the ingredients are room temperature. The eggs, the milk, both were room temperature. And the butter, of course, because we use soft butter. All right, so scraping down the sides and the bottom here, I am just going to let it go just for a few more seconds while I add in the rest of that buttermilk, just to make sure it's all together, and again, not to over mix. So once you see that flour is gone, y'all, it's done. Okay, so I am using some Baker's Joy to spray my pan with, and I never noticed that they had all these little recipes on the back. May try one day. So I do spray my pan a lot because this is my favorite pan. I use it all the time, and it's getting pretty old. I'm gonna have to get a new one. But I just want to make sure that my cake come out looking pretty and that it doesn't stick. All this batter will fit, as you can see. Well, you will see, in other words. So put all the batter into the pan, and then you're going to bake it at 350 degrees. Mine did cook for 1 hour and 10 minutes, but I do recommend checking it after about 55 minutes to an hour just to make sure if your cake is done or if it needs a little bit more time. Okay, y'all, so to get this caramel prepared, this is like the easiest way to make caramel. You can make it from scratch, but it would definitely have a lot of stirring, a lot of sanding for about an hour or two. But I like to just go ahead and boil some condensed milk. I actually got this from my sister. But I'll boil the condensed milk and I'll just add butter and extract to it. So once you get everything added, I do add the extract last, you guys, sorry. So like once it gets smooth and it's smoothed out, that's when you're gonna add the extract. But for right now, we're just gonna add the condensed milk and we're gonna add the butter. I added in 4 tablespoons of butter. And so then you're just gonna mix it. I started off using a wooden spoon to mix it, and as you can see a little bit later, you're gonna use a whisk. A whisk would always work better to smooth it out. It is gonna take a bit of stirring. I cook it on low to medium heat, and then you just keep mixing consistently until it gets smooth, and that can take about 7 to 15 minutes. It actually took us about 12. So me and my daughter took turns mixing it. But anytime that you need to take a break while mixing, if your arm gets too tired, just remove it from the heat, because if it stays on the heat, it may burn and it'll start to crystallize.
So then, why?
Okay, so as you can see here, it has smoothed out into a nice caramel glaze frosting or coverage, whatever you want to call it. And this is where I go ahead and add the extract in. I did use some almond extract, and I also use a little bit of butter flavored vanilla because that's the type of caramel that we actually wanted. And then I went ahead and mixed that in, and once you do that, remove it from the heat again to keep it from burning, and you are all set to go. But if your cake is not ready right now, like you want to add this to a cool cake, because if the cake is hot, it's just going to melt more and you're going to have triple caramel everywhere. So if the cake is not ready, then you can leave it and just reheat it, stir it again consistently until it's heated to your desired temperature. Or like me, if I pour mine into a measuring glass cup, and I just heated it up in a microwave for 20-second increments until it got to my desired temperature. So here's my cake. Let's go for it. Let's see how pretty it is. And boom, no cake left behind. I love a beautiful cake. Okay, so that's why I spray my pans heavenly, okay, because I love a beautiful cake. All right, so adding this caramel to it again. Here it is. It is nice and smooth. I have reheated it in the microwave, and I am just going to go ahead and just put this all around the cake, and whatever is left over we just use to top on slices or eat with some apples. Okay, so after slicing, I just want to show y'all how the slices look. We need better lighting in this house, but as you can see, it's more crumbly, the old-fashioned pound cake versus like a pound cake that you would stiff everything and be particular. So I just had to try the cake, you guys, and I must say it is so good. It is on point. It's hitting. All right, so make sure you go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, please, turn on your post notifications so you get an update, and share this video, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.